recess meeting of the Will County Board for March 15, 2018. We will call this meeting to order. If everyone would please stand. I will remember three will lead us in the pledge of our allegiance and then introduce the clergy for this morning.
Mr. Executive, I'd like to pass to a wonderful young lady that's going to lead us in the pledge, Julia Hart, daughter of Suzanne, who just graduated Great Lakes Military. So if she could step forward and lead us in the pledge, that'd be great.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time I'd like to ask Reverend John Merkelis from the Providence High School in New Lenox to come forward. Father Merk is a native of Calumet City, Illinois, graduate of St. Louis University with an MA in Religious Studies and Lewis University with an MA in Education Administration. He came to Providence in 1988 and has served in many roles: pastoral director, vocational director, principal, and is currently the acting president. When I talked to him last week about being introduced, he simply said, "Just tell him that I'm a sinner." Father Merk.
Which is true. Thank you. Every day at Providence Catholic, a member of our administration, faculty, staff, student writes and delivers their own prayer over the PA system. The prayers of a personal nature dealing with issues that an administrator, teacher, staff member, or student face in their everyday life. I'll use that format for my opening prayer today. Dear God, I am honored to be invited to give the opening prayer at the Will County Board meeting. These men and women show tremendous courage by accepting the call to public service. I ask that you bless them with wisdom, understanding, compassion, and right judgment in their deliberations. I'm particularly pleased to be here as this board honors the Providence Catholic wrestling team and coaching staff. Though the matches are individual, our athletes realize that it takes team effort to bring home the hardware. Coach Healy has been exemplary in his role as teacher, coach, and dean. I'm grateful for the witness of faith he gives on a daily basis, a model for our young men and women. Help us all to proceed today in the knowledge that what we do builds the Will County community, strengthens our state and national community, and makes the world a better place. Love me. And for the Providence family gathered here, you have made us for yourself, O Lord.
And our hearts are restless to the rest in you.
Saint Augustine.
Pray for us.
Amen.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Sure. Mayor?
Here.
Brooks?
Here.
Ogala? Summers? Here. Singer? Moran?
Present.
Rice? Harris?
Here.
Tranier? Benefield?
Here.
Fritz? Gould?
Here.
Militello? Here. Balich?
Here.
Griswold?
Here.
Winfrey? Here. Parker? Here. Staley Ferry? Here. Dollinger? Here. Markham?
Here.
Hart?
Yes.
Tumanello?
Here.
Weigel?
Here.
Barry?
Here.
Prolitis?
Here.
And Eustace.
Here.
Thank you.
23 present, 3 absent.
23 present, we do have a quorum. Entertain a motion to place on file the certificate of publication.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Mayor, second by Mr. Brooks. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Sure. Mayor?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Summers? Yes. Moran?
Yes.
Rice?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Benefield?
Yes.
Fritz? Gould?
Yes.
Militello?
Yes.
Balich?
Yes.
Griswold.
Yes.
Winfrey.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Staley Ferry.
Yes.
Challenger.
Yes.
Markham.
Yes.
Hart.
Yes.
Criminello.
Yes.
Weigel.
Yes.
Barry.
Yes.
Carlitis.
Yes.
And Eustace.
Yes.
Thank you.
23 affirmative.
23 affirmative, motion will carry. Look for a motion to approve the minutes of the Will County Board recess meeting of February 15, 2018. Moved by Ms. Winfrey, second by Ms. Summers. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll by Mr. Ferry and second by Mr. Harry. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary motion is carried. Entertain a motion for approval of the executive session minutes of County Board 15, 2018. Moved by Mr. Gould, second by Ms. Debbie Militello. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Dollinger, second by Mr. Vallich. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary motion has carried. Madam Clerk, would you please acknowledge the elected officials and media this morning?
Sure. Auditor Debbie Blackburn, County Clerk Nancy Schultz Booth, our County Executive Larry Walsh, Recorder of Deeds Karen Stucco, Sheriff Mike Kelly, our State's Attorney James Glasgow, and we also have Jennifer Bettino-Tarrant from the 49th Legislative District with us this morning. In the media, we have Farmers Weekly Review, Nick Breyer, Southtown is Susan Lafferty, and with Times Weekly, Brockstein. Welcome and good morning.
Next up, honorary resolution and proclamations. First up with County Board member Ray Tumanel coming to the podium and recognize Coach Keith Healy on his retirement from Providence Catholic High School wrestling coach.
Thank you, Mr. Executive. County Board, for giving me a few minutes to be able to speak a little bit about a man who is certainly an icon in our sport. Mr. Healy, come on down. You know, when we think of football, we think of Walter Payton. When we think of basketball, we think of Michael Jordan. Oftentimes we think of other sports, we have a great. When we think of IHSA wrestling, we think of Coach Healy. It's not often that an individual can go down to state and be 1,000% every time this man showed up. Imagine if you're in another sport and you bat 1,000, you shoot the winning shot 1,000% of the times. Never before in the history of IHSA sports, in any sport, has a man gone downstate and won on every occasion. I think it's a true testament. And when you look around, most coaches in most schools, they're hoping to get a trophy. This is not all of the wrestling trophies that Providence Catholic has won. These are the wrestling trophies that Coach Healy has led his team to in the last over quarter century. And while we're not going to talk about his wrestling skills and his wrestling ability, what he accomplished as a young man, because that would take quite a bit of time out of our day, we are going to talk about him as the head coach and what he has accomplished. You know, one of the things I think it's important is while most coaches we focus on winning and we focus on getting trophies, Coach Healy focuses on the education and the all-around athlete. He has for 26 years. If there's a student, one student, any student, I don't care if it's your star wrestler, he's got a 69% on any one grade, I don't care if you're straight A's everywhere else, you're sitting. You are not wrestling. You must be above a 70% in every single one of your classes to be eligible to be on that mat. And I think it's a true testament to the man and the individual that he has tried to bring through the ranks over the last 26 years. So I'll read this proclamation recognizing Keith Healy on his retirement as head coach of Providence Catholic High School Wrestling. Whereas it is the intent of the Will County Board and the Will County Executive to recognize outstanding achievements of individuals and organizations in Will County. And whereas Keith Healy has decided to retire after 26 years as head coach of the Providence Catholic High School Wrestling team. And whereas the Providence Catholic High School wrestling program is rich in its tradition and supported through the core values of truth, unity, and love. And whereas Coach Healy's years at Providence Catholic, the Celtics placed in the top 4 states, gained a trophy in over half of the seasons while he was head coach. A time period highlighted by a run of 6 consecutive state titles from 1997 to 2002. And whereas Coach Healy is one of the most decorated high school wrestling coaches ever, holding the IHSA record for the most team appearances, 14, which he won all 14 trophies, most consecutive wins, 21 state duels, most titles ever won, and over 550 individual dual tournament wins. And whereas Coach Healy has coached numerous state qualifiers, 70 place winners, 31 wrestlers have reached the finals, and 21 individual state champions. We actually have some of those before you today. And whereas Coach Healy was named National Coach of the Year for the entire country by the National High School Athletic Coaches Association in 2017. Now therefore be it resolved that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive hereby honor Coach Keith Healy for his 26 years of dedication to the Providence Catholic Wrestling Team, and be it further resolved that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive hereby wish Coach Healy a long and happy retirement from coaching. Dated this 15th day of March by Lawrence M. Walsh, our County Executive, attested by Nancy Schultz Boots, our Will County, and I so move.
Moved, second by Mr. Weigel. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried. Congratulations.
I just want to say thank you for recognizing me. Most of these kids are from Will County, so it's awesome to see them staying local. Thank the parents for all the support they've given me throughout the years, and go Celtics.
Planned this because St. Patrick's Day is in a couple days, you know, about the green and stuff. But I appreciate everything you've done, Coach. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's fine. You're safe. Good job. All right, guys. Thank you.
Next on the agenda, if County Board Member Don Moran will please come forward, recognizing Valley View School District 365 View for the installation of 5 solar roofs.
Thank you, Larry. If I could ask Mike Lopez, the Director of Operations for Valley View School District, to come down and join me to receive the proclamation. Proclamation recognizing Bellevue Community Unit School District 365U as the 2018 We Will Shine Solar in the Community Public Sector Award recipient. Whereas it is the intent of the Will County Board and Will County Executive to recognize the outstanding contributions by the public sector within the county, and whereas Will County's We Will Shine Solar Outreach, Education, and Recognition Program was created in 2018 to educate others about solar energy, encourage the development of solar energy, and acknowledge those leaders of solar energy in the Will County community. And whereas Will County's We Will Shine Solar Outreach, Education, and Recognition Program annually honors one public and one private sector entity with the Solar in the Community Award that have used a distributed generation certified installer through the Illinois Commerce Commission to install a solar energy system that has been energized for at least 6 months. And whereas solar in the community award recipients must demonstrate innovation in design, location, or technology positively impact the Will County community and the recipient's organization, reduce energy usage and/or cost through thoughtful financial planning and analysis, and perform education and outreach to the Will County community through the installation of a solar energy system. And whereas Valley View Community Unit School District 365U has been named the 2018 We Will Shine Solar in the Community Public Sector Award recipient. And whereas Valley View is the first ever school district in Will County to deploy solar arrays on its schools for the purpose of generating enough energy to support the electric demands of its facilities. And whereas Valley View Community Unit School District 365U has installed solar arrays on 5 of its schools' rooftops that will produce energy for the schools and save costs that can be reinvested to enhance the educational experience of students. And whereas this effort will inspire and influence the deployment of solar energy systems at Will County schools and demonstrate successful use of renewable energy in Will County. Now therefore be it resolved that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive hereby congratulate Valley View Community Unit School District 365U as the 2018 We Will Shine Solar and Community Public Sector Award recipient. Dated this 15th day of March 2018, Larry Walsh, Will County Executive, attested by Mary Schultz Boots, and I so move.
Move by Ms. Moran, second by Ms. Rice. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried. Congratulations.
On behalf of Valley View School District, I would like to thank the Will County Board for recognizing our district's success in developing renewable solar energy at 5 of our schools. This solar initiative has already begun to generate electricity for our school district and offsetting our utility costs in a great way. The greater benefit is to the community at large, allowing us to be good stewards of our environment while being fiscally responsible to our community and taxpayers. I invite everyone to attend a solar talk this afternoon at 1:30 at one of our solar schools, the Tansik Middle School, which is located at 725 Normantown Road in Romeoville, to hear more about our accomplishments in more detail and our successes. I want to thank you again. Thank you.
Next, I would like to welcome back to the podium Ray Tumanello and County Board Member Chuck Mayer and Land Use Department employee Sam Bleemer to the podium for a presentation from ComEd and NICOR.
Good morning, County Executive Walsh, Speaker Mustis, distinguished board members, staff, and guests. I'm glad to be here today to introduce ComEd and NICOR regarding an incentive Will County has received for their new construction program that awards different facilities for beyond code measures taken in the new construction of public facilities. These beyond measure decisions were made by the leadership of our Capital Improvements Committee, chaired by County Board Member Ray Tumanello. And it is with pleasure that I introduce Jeff Petrick of ComEd and Joe DeReal of NICOR.
Thank you, Sam. On behalf of ComEd, I'd like to congratulate Will County for participating in our incentive program. In 2016, the state legislature passed the Future Energy Jobs Act. It greatly increased the amount of energy efficiency incentives available, and Will County has been a great partner working with us, from the LED lights that are overhead right now to all of the new energy-saving features that went into the public safety complex. That is what we are awarding a check today for. And we also are looking forward to partnering with Will County in the future as we build the new building in downtown Joliet and a number of other projects that are going on throughout the whole county. So I want to congratulate Will County, and we look forward to working with them. Joe?
This is an exciting day for Nicor Gas as we are proud to support Will County and welcome them to the community of more than 500,000 Nicor Gas customers who have participated in the Nicor Gas Energy Efficiency Program, Energy Smart. We are dedicated to the well-being of the Will County community, and we are happy to partner with communities like Will County to help them save energy and make improvements that benefit everyone in their community. On behalf of ComEd and Nicor Gas Energy Efficiency Programs, we would like to congratulate you on your energy efficiency efforts and present you with this incentive check. Thank you.
You know, when I got on the board 16 years ago, we had an opportunity to put together a committee, an Energy and Utility Resource Committee, and ComEd and Nicor Gas both were part of that team that helped get a lot of things done here in Will County. When you take a look at what these two giant corporations have done, what other companies out there work to have you use their services less? Doesn't happen. But these guys are not only trying to get us to use their services less and more efficient, they're making sure that they're actually reimbursing us for the dollars that we are able to save with them. So with that, I think we need to give Nicor and ComEd another round of applause, because without partners like this, our government agencies can't do the jobs that we need to do. So Nicor and ComEd, thank
Does that go too long?
Not if we make it.
Now you want some of that?
We'll squeeze together.
Sam, get a piece of this check, Sam. It wasn't for your hard work.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Good seeing you guys. Sam, Jeff, good seeing you. Edison gave up on me. It was 13.
All resolutions approved at February 15, 2018 county board meeting have been signed by the county executive. We have a presentation at this time by Mike Hennessy. Is that correct? Okay. Mike, would you like to please come forward?
Good morning, everyone. It's rather ironic, preceding me, Jeff Hetrick and Joe Del Rio are members of our United Way Will County Board, and ComEd, Exelon, and Nicor are major supporters of the work we do every day to enhance the quality of life in Will County. We're very grateful for their support. We're also very grateful for the support we receive from the county board, each of you as board members, and the county employees for what you do every year to help raise funds for the organizations that our United Way supports. Over $110,000 collectively has been raised through the county board and the Will County employees, and we're forever grateful. This year, and at your place, I think you should have a copy of several documents. One is our flyer that highlights 3 major areas that our United Way focuses on. Community solutions, and we've been involved in helping to create several nonprofit organizations that benefit the residents of Will County. Case in point, the Daybreak Homeless Center operated by Catholic Charities, the Child Care Resource and Referral Program, the Warren Sharp Community Center, just to name a few organizations. We also are involved in investing in the currently 113 programs that are provided by 50 nonprofit organizations, and you'll see on the second page the logos of those 50 organizations. In fact, one of the programs is just outside as you enter, the 4-H program operated by the Cooperative Extension. And we invest in 4 major program categories: youth success, self-sufficiency, healthy lifestyles, and safer communities. And our focus is on the program. Obviously, it's implemented by a nonprofit organization, but the emphasis is on the program. And then the next 3 pages, 2.5, are probably about 70, 80 programs highlighting the number of Will County residents that were served during 2016. We're in the process of getting and obtaining the 2017 service statistics report. Last month was the deadline for organizations to apply, and we're going to be reviewing 53 organizations and 118 programs, again, that will benefit the residents of Will County. Our funding year is July to June fiscal year. And the last page, of course, I'd be remiss, and I know several of you currently support the Will County United Way campaign through the county as board members. Some of you haven't had a chance to make your pledge. There is the pledge form that's attached for you to complete and forward on to the processing. But I think one of the main reasons why I'm here, not only to thank you, give you a quick highlight, was to talk about how we review our programs that are funded by our United Way each year. We have about 100 volunteers, 25 in each of those program categories, and they're a cross-section of individuals bring a lot of expertise to help us assess the programs that step up and apply for support. Every other year, a program that we have been funding, we do make a site visit. Any new program that is asking to receive support automatically gets a site visit. And we make sure that that new program that's asking for us to fund is not a program that we're already investing dollars in and supporting the residents of our county. All the organizations that apply for support have to be a nonprofit corporation. They have to be compliant with the IRS. They're submitting their annual 990 reports, and also must be approved by the Illinois Attorney General's Charitable Trust Bureau. And they have to submit their 990 report to the Attorney General's office as well. For those organizations whose operating budget is over $300,000, we ask them to do an independent audit conducted by an independent CPA, and we review that in detail. Those under $300,000, it's an independent review, less expensive, but again, someone is externally looking at their financial operation, and we evaluate that very carefully. We also look at other resources the organization has. Some of the organizations we fund are more blessed than others. Some are, running month to month, and also working in very needy areas of our community. And it's a wide range in terms of our investments to the total program that organization provides. But our volunteers carefully look at that and know how much we will have available to distribute. The challenge we continue to face is that this year we're looking at, unfortunately, less dollars to distribute, yet the requests are up significantly over last year. Of the 118 programs and the 53 organizations asking for support, it's about $3.7 million. We're currently investing about 2.5. And unfortunately, as I mentioned, unless we have some significant increases in revenues to come to us to enhance those services. And plus, you saw on the flyers some of the other things that we do. For example, we're coordinating for the county the Emergency Food and Shelter Grant that comes each year. This will be the 35th year. It's a federal grant under the Homeland Security Act. It supplements shelters for the homeless, provides rent and utility assistance. Last year was about $400,000. We're not sure yet. We hope we'll hear next week. The National Board is meeting tomorrow to know how much will be available. We don't think the federal appropriation will change. It's been $120 million probably for 10 years. But how it does change is based on jurisdictions, or we call counties. It's based on the previous year's unemployment rate, demand for service, poverty rates, a lot of factors that go in to divide those dollars among the county. And we have a separate board that will review those requests. And our disaster relief fund, God forbid that we would need to mobilize it, but it was created back in 1990 at the devastation, the tornado that devastated parts of Plainfield, Crestville, and Joliet. And we helped distribute over an 18-month period the $2.5 million that were kindly contributed. It was mobilized back in the floods in '96, 2004, where the tornado came through the Western Avenue area in Joliet. The last two years ago, June in Grundy County, and then 17 months prior to that, we had some slight impact in the southern part of the county, but we work very closely with Harold Dameron with the Will County EMA and helping. We invest in the Red Cross, Salvation Army, Catholic Charities as our lead responders, but those funds are also used to help supplement and coordinate private dollars that are kindly contributed. But a year ago, December, there was a house explosion in Homer Glen, and a young girl who's a student in Homer School District and her father were very severely injured. And what we did was to utilize that fund to help raise dollars that the faculty and staff of the school district, Homer School District, and other residents in the community wanted to help benefit the family. And so we said, use our disaster relief fund, because 100% of what will be contributed will go to help them. It was over $14,000 that was kindly contributed. So that's another unique way where a community can rally around and help those who are impacted versus setting up an online account where there are fees attached. Use our disaster relief fund, and 100% will go to benefit. And then in honoring Brother James Gaffney, who retired from Lewis University's president a couple of years ago, we recognized a volunteer platform in his honor. And many of our nonprofits, some we fund, some we don't, have listed their volunteer opportunities. In fact, we're over at Fairmont Community Center as we speak this morning with a mobile food pantry. We made some significant investments in supporting mobile food pantries to supplement what pantry is able to provide, and volunteers there this morning. We'll have 24 of them that we're investing in, partnering with Catholic Charities and Northern Illinois Food Bank, our school food backpack program, and I know there were questions. We talked about that when I met with the executive board about a month ago, on how we're helping children who still unfortunately come to school hungry on Monday. We're helping them, working with the Northern Illinois Food Bank and also a new group called Bags of Hope, to provide in a confidential way food in their school backpack that they'll take home with them on Friday, and then hopefully not come to school hungry on Monday. And we're also looking at other unique things. You see Women's United, some of you were there. It was launched on February 1st, and in the community baby shower events that will be taking place, as well as Learn to Read and Read to Learn programs. The Family Wise Prescription Program, Will County residents are taking advantage of it. Over $2 million has been saved over the last 10 years by savings on prescription medication that a person who, whether they have health insurance or not, if a prescription is not covered, they can receive 20-30% in savings. And in some customers, it can be $200, $300, $400 a month that they're saving, and those dollars can be used for other basic needs that they have. Obviously, our United Way is there to help, to bring together, to look at and solve problems in an organized way. The investment that you're kind enough to make, you can be assured it will go where the need is the greatest, and we'll carefully review those programs that organizations step forward to help us. So maybe at that, maybe I can stop and answer any questions you have, particularly as it relates to how we review programs that seek support.
Anyone with questions? Anyone with questions? Mr. Muses, you have your light on.
Oh, that's an answer. outside of United Way does a great job, and I can tell you that I've worked United Way from a township level, and we also do a lot of coordination and help with the food pantries and the portable food pantries. So it is something that's needed. I'm glad you had your program.
Thank you.
Any questions, comments? Mr. Frizzle.
Like to mention the family in Homer Glen, I just wanted to update you, they are rebuilding their house.
Good to hear.
So, we're glad for the help that you were able to give at the time. It's taken a while, it's been about 2 years,
Yes.
2.5 years, but they're building and coming back, so thank you.
That's wonderful. Good to hear.
Any other comments? Any other comments? Well, thank you, Michael, very much.
And County Executive Walsh, if I can just make just some closing comments. Again, I just want to thank you for the good that you do every day, what you do to help our county. It's also, I want to thank the county employees for what they do every day, keeping us safe and helping to enhance the quality of life. We value our partnership, and we look forward to our continued relationship. And as Pastor Brooks knows, and he serves on our emergency food and shelter program, but I also want to share and with a quote that I read years ago, and he knows the quote I'm going to be sharing with you, that for me it's always helped with giving in its proper perspective, and it goes like this. What? Giving again? I asked in dismay, and must I keep giving and giving away? Oh no, said the angel looking me through, just keep giving until our master stops giving to you. Thanks again for all the good that you do, and may God continue to bless all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Next up is our Land Use and Development Committee, Mr. Weigel, Chairman.
Good morning, everyone. We have scheduled public hearings for the 4 land use cases. Before we open those, I'd like to make a comment concerning the solar farm. Judy Ogala, one of our committee members, is at a conference, Farm Bureau conference in Springfield the last couple of days. And she has come across an agricultural impact mitigation agreement, which the state agriculture department has prepared for pipelines and wind farms, and they're in the process of preparing one for solar farms. So we would like to include that in our conditions and our ordinances. So I'll be asking that we return those 3 projects for zoning cases back to committee after we close the public hearing. But for now, I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Ms. Dollinger. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Sure. Mayor?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Summers?
Yes.
Moran?
Yes.
Rice?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Benefield?
Yes.
Fritz?
Yes.
Gould?
Yes.
Militello?
Yes.
Balich?
Yes.
Vizalone?
Yes.
Winfrey?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Staley Ferry?
Yes.
Dollinger?
Yes.
Markham?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes.
Tumnello?
Yes.
Weigel?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Colitis?
Yes.
And Eustace.
Yes.
Thank you.
23 affirmative.
23 affirmative. We are in public hearing. Please be advised, absolutely no new evidence or information will be allowed once this land use public hearing is closed. Today, we were scheduled to have 4 cases to be heard. ZC 17-051, ZC 17-71, ZC 17-072, and ZC 18-002. So I saw that we had some speakers on the 3 cases that Mr. Weigel is talking about that he is going to move to send back to committee. If those individuals wanted to make a comment at this time or not. Guess not. Is there anyone else wanting to address the board on any of these 4 cases? Anyone would like to speak on these 4 cases? Anyone would like to speak on these 4 cases? Mr. Weigel.
Make a motion to close the public hearing?
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Mr. Delich. Madam Clerk, call for the vote.
Sure. Mayor? Brooks?
Yes.
Summers?
I did want to speak, and I did it late, so
Pardon me?
I can't. I did, no. I did want to make a comment, if that's okay.
Well,
Do you need me to do it? Okay, that's fine, I'll wait.
Yeah, you
Back to
got
the roll call, maybe?
Yes.
Okay, Summers?
Yes.
Moran?
Yes.
Rice?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Benefield?
Yes.
Fritz?
Yes.
Gould?
Yes.
Militello?
Yes.
Balich?
Yes.
Vizalone?
Yes.
Winfrey?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Staley Perry?
Yes.
Dollinger?
Yes.
Markham?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes.
Chiminello?
Yes.
Weigel?
Yes.
Perry?
Yes.
Colitis?
Yes.
And Eustace?
Yes.
Thank you.
23 affirmative.
23, we are out of public hearing. Mr. Weigel, please continue.
Our first case is a map amendment from E2 to A1 in Green Garden Township. This was a 30-acre parcel that was created several years ago, about 10 years ago, for E2 subdivision. And the owner has not been able to sell any lots, so he would like to go back to A1 parcels. His intent is to create 3 10-acre parcels, which he feels would be easier to sell because of the building down there now want larger lots. They want to set up pole barns and things like that. So the committee recommends approval. I would make a motion to approve a map amendment from E2 to A1.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Ms. Winfrey. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll by Mr. Summers, second by Mr. Martin. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, the motion has carried.
Okay, next case is a solar farm, case ZC 17-071. I'll make a motion to send this back to committee.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Mr. Mayor. Any discussion? Ms. Summers?
Yes. Am I on?
You're on.
Okay. On the next 3 cases, I'm a little bit confused as we went through this thoroughly in committee. We also had a presentation a couple months ago to the Committee of the Whole in regards to solar farms, where the current company that wants to do the solar farm was also allowed to speak. Also, I'm a little confused as to the fact that the municipality of Beecher, Washington Township, and our fire protection district are all in favor of this. There were some stipulations that they put into place, but they're all being met. There was some concern regarding the Manhattan project due to the pipeline. I think there was been, since then, in 2 days, there's been some concessions met on that the overhead would only come out for a certain amount and go right back underground. So those, because that was the concern because of the pipeline. I'm not quite sure why we would be tabling these again. The solar farm issue was brought to us a few months ago and was very well discussed. And if someone is asking to have more time to do research, that research should have been done prior to now. That's our job as county board members, is to look into these things, especially if it's affecting our district. Again, I'm going to push the fact that the municipality, the township, and the fire protection district have no issue with this.
Mr. Mayor,
Well, let me help enlighten you, Lori, because we had a call from one of our county board members who's at a conference, agricultural conference, and she's learning a lot of things that have not been in front of our committees. It is not the job of this county board to pass things along by what we know today. If we learn that there are new information that we need to learn for tomorrow's decision, this is a new venture for us. We need to make sure that when we make these decisions, we're making it with all the right information. And once we have that information, those decisions will be made, which is why this is going back to committee and not being tabled. We want further discussion on this, and we want to make sure that this is an open decision with open discussion with all the information that we have before us. So when we're told that we don't have all the information, we need to make sure that that takes place. So that's why, Lori, that's why we're sending it back to committee and not tabling this.
I'm actually having someone else explain that to me. That is something that was not brought forward at committee because we didn't have that.
That's because it just came to our attention now.
And we did not discuss it, so, okay?
That's why we're explaining it now.
Mr. Frizzlum,
Yeah, and what Chuck is saying about this convention that's going on right now, the other counties are down there, and they're having the similar experiences that we are. They've already ran into some issues that we weren't aware of yet. So all that information is being gathered now, and I think it will all come out at our next land use meeting so that we can get a little better feel for what problems they're running into so we can hopefully get ahead of those. And that's happening right now.
Mr. Mustis? Yes, you know, I think that the board has struggled with this almost from the very beginning to try to get it right. Even at the last land use committee, there was considerable debate on these solar facilities going forward. This is really, as we gather information, this should have probably been part of our ordinance, and that's why we'll go back and talk. Even if it's put on as a condition on these cases, you know, it will probably go and incorporate it in our ordinance. You know, as far as I know, there is no real crucial time frame for these companies. The fact is they don't even have their allocation for their incentives yet. We don't even know if these are projects that are going to go forward because we don't know if they're going to get the approval or the incentive they need. So they're months out before they know whether they're even going to go forward. So we do have to give some time. We're not hurting these applicants, but we are strengthening our ordinance to make sure that we're getting this as right as we possibly can. I'm sure there'll be additional changes as we go along down the line. But we're just trying to get it as comprehensive of an ordinance that we can have to protect, to promote renewable energies, but also protect our constituencies in Will County. So, and this information did come late. Nobody likes things when they come late, but we should take a look at it. And certainly this is a concern of the agricultural community on a statewide basis. We should consider what they would like to see in an ordinance. Okay.
Mr. Balich? At the Land Use Committee meeting, Mr. Mooses brought up the point of property rights, and that confused me when I heard him saying that. So I was mixed up, and I'm sure a lot of the other people were mixed up because there was a lot of debate. And after thinking about it, I asked the question, where do these incentives come from? And I was told that it's a program from the state of Illinois. And so I said, so it's coming from our taxes, our property tax. And they said, no, it's not. It's something ComEd's reimbursing. Well, the bottom line is that people living in our community have to pay this, whether it's a fee to ComEd or a part of a tax. So we're subsidizing these companies to come in so that farmers can make a whole bunch of money. And And that's the bottom line. And so that bothers me in itself. And I have no problem with solar, but if it's such a good thing, why do we have to subsidize? And then when the subsidies go away, that's the next problem. When they decommission it, that's where all the arguments come in. How do we know that the landowner who's responsible finds out it costs way more money than his property is worth, and then the county's stuck with decommissioning? And then, like in committee, we were talking there, somebody brought up the point that, well, subdivisions could come in and these solar farms are better than subdivisions. But there's nothing that says that a subdivision can't come in and the solar farm tells the guy, we'll make a deal and we'll get rid of the solar farm so you can build the subdivision. And they do that anyway. And after it's decommissioned, whenever that is, it takes approximately 2 years to bring the soil back to where it's supposed to be. That's what I'm being told. So that's just stuff that I found out since the meeting. And so, I see no reason to rush this through. And we really, really got to be careful what we're doing.
Mr. Brooks?
Mr. Executive, my question is to our chairperson, Tom Weigel. I understand that the more we are informed, the wiser we can vote. And am I to understand, I want to help our caucus to understand that you have learned some things since Julia Dollar is in Springfield, and so therefore it warrants going back to committee so that you can provide, when she comes back, provide us with better information so we can be more of an informed voter on this issue?
That's correct. There are agricultural impact mitigation agreements for pipelines and wind farms, and they're working on one now for solar farms, but it's not done yet. So we need to get up to speed on that. And I think she had some other issues, but we should solve all those issues before we approve it.
And this will go back for April, and we'll discuss it, land use in April?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Ms. Rice?
I'm just wondering if a staff member from land use or the civil engineer that's here from the solar farm can clarify what the agreement currently is. If they're not farming solar energy, what would the land be returned to? I understand that you're talking about something additional, but I'd like to know currently, what is their agreement for the land if it's not farming solar energy, what would it be returned to? Because I do understand that there is an agreement in place as far as that goes. Yeah, so I've been looking for clarification on the current arrangement.
Dean or Sam?
Can I just make a quick comment as we're coming down? Yeah, just so, from my understanding, the Farm Bureau, the agricultural interests, are not only interested in the decommissioning, but they're also interested in having an agreement that addresses the quality of the soil, or the land itself, that it can go back and be used for agricultural purposes. And that solar companies would assure that the land is in a proper condition to go back into agriculture. So it's a little more specific to the decommissioning agreement. So that's what it is.
That is true, but I still, before I vote, would just like clarification on what the current arrangement is, understanding that what you're bringing up to return to committee is fully from that.
By the way, we won't be taking a vote. The leasee and the leaseor, I mean, the owner of the property can put it in his lease.
Going down, Sam.
Okay. So to clarify, County Board Member Rice, what I think you're asking, they do have to submit a decommissioning plan when they apply for the special use permit, as the ordinance language that was approved in January requires. And that walks through how the system would be removed, the cost for removal. It does include the scrap value of the system, but when I personally take a look at those decommissioning plans, I look strictly at what the cost is. I don't factor in the scrap value when I do my per acre average for decommissioning. because those rates can change for scrap. And so we want to consider if they walked away and there was no scrap, what are we looking at for cost to decommission?
And does the arrangement contain anything in there about soil usage, how the soil would be returned or managed?
So just to clarify, when you say arrangement, are you speaking to the decommissioning plan that the developer is required to submit? Or are you speaking about the ag mitigation agreement that's being worked on by the state of Illinois? So in the decommissioning plan, if there are any, they'll have to lay out step by step exactly what that looks like. So if there was any grading that was done or moving of topsoil on the site, they will have to talk about how they return that land to its prior condition if there was never any solar panels there before. And I also want to provide a clarifying piece because I have been working with Mark Schneidewin of our Will County Farm Bureau regarding the ag impact mitigation agreement for commercial solar. That agreement is not going to be out for public comment for at least another couple months, and then final revision. So we're probably not looking until the end of this year for that to be put into place. But Mark and I are working together to take language from that document and create a Will County local focused version of that document that will address field tiles, it will address stormwater, it will address soil care, and that way I have the expert of our farming community, Mark, there present to make sure that we're building a policy that's inclusive of what the Illinois Department of Ag is suggesting, but also what unique situations we face as a county.
Thank you.
And Mr. Mustis, so then my question would be, can we put that in our ordinance now to say that this will be inserted and the companies that are applying now will meet the conditions of that plan, even though it's unknown at this point?
So
I mean, that would be, the question is, we're working on it, is it, so maybe our ordinance was premature. We pushed to approve something that maybe we weren't prepared to do yet.
Well, some of the components, and we have gotten a lot of accolades from national organizations on our ordinance pertaining to solar and best practices. It's that some of the components that we need to address with solar farms don't necessarily fit in the zoning ordinance. And so this would be a supplemental policy that would accompany our zoning ordinance to guide developers on best practices. And so what we could do as staff is prepare that document specific to Will County using language from the Ag Impact Mitigation Agreement that I have draft language for, and we can propose that to Land Use Committee to move forward to the board for resolution.
Okay. Makes sense. Yeah, that would make sense. So, and then they would comply with that. That makes sense. So we could probably move the resolution to April, and we can bring these folks back in town. They can, we can, Sarah, we can notify those companies who are now in applications and waiting for approval, just to make that a condition of the approval. Ms. Rice, have you answered?
Yes, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Moran.
Sam, before you run away. Just to clarify something that Mr. Balich said, the incentives that Commonwealth Edison gives, and I don't want to talk on behalf of Commonwealth Edison or Jeff Hetrick since it seems that he left, but the incentives that they give are based on savings that Commonwealth Edison will see in purchasing of electricity and not investing in capital improvements to build new power plants, and that the savings that they get through using smart meters and using alternative energy sources isn't an extra charge that the taxpayers or Commonwealth Edison users pay to the utility in order to give these incentives for these alternative energies. It's things that they, in their business model, save money on, and so they give some of that back to incentivize people to do these projects. Is that correct?
So just to clarify, because it's complicated. It is. The Future Energy Jobs Act stipulates that there is a line item on all of our ComEd bills that says renewable energy program and energy efficiency program. So every single ComEd customer pays into these programs. So they're ratepayer-funded programs, and under FEJA, those funds are allocated to be used for the specific purpose of these incentives. Now, when a developer is working directly with ComEd for the sale of energy and for the renewable energy credits that they receive for producing solar energy, they enter into a 15-year contract no matter what their payment schedule is. Every different type of solar has a different payment schedule. You may get all of your benefits in 5 years, you may get them distributed over 15 years. But regardless, it is a 15-year at minimum contract. If you violate that contract and aren't producing for 15 years, then you have to answer to ComEd and the ICC on how you're going to return those benefits that you received. Does that answer your question?
So it is an additional charge, it's not something that they take off their bottom line when they have savings for not reinvesting in other capital?
It is a
Or
charge.
adding scrubbers to coal power plants, which is their deal and for airway transmission, I understand that. But when people like Entergy add scrubbers and stuff to their coal plants, that increases the cost of power production, which increases Commonwealth Edison's charges that we get charged as homeowners. Isn't some of this offset by that, or no?
The program for renewable energy is entirely ratepayer funded. So it is all of the funding comes in from ComEd customers, payment on your bill based on your usage. And a lot of these payments were being made before. They were all just lumped into what we call the supply charge line item.
Time.
Thank you, I stand corrected.
Seeing no more discussion, Mr. Weigel.
Okay, we had a motion and a second to send this back to committee.
Are you sending all three in one motion, or are you doing one at a time?
Well,
One at a time.
One at a time.
one at a time.
Clerk says one at a time.
That's fine.
So, which one are you on?
First one.
ZC 17071.
Okay.
Second.
So, it's already been motioned
Mayor.
and second. And so,
We need a previous roll.
we'll call roll.
Mayor?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yeah.
Summers? No. Moran? Rice?
No.
Harris?
No.
Benefield?
Yes.
Fritz?
Yes.
Gould?
Yes.
Militello?
Yes.
Gallich?
Yes.
Griswold?
Yes.
Winfrey?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Staley Ferry?
Yes.
Dollinger?
Yes.
Markham?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes.
Tumanello?
Yes.
Weigel?
Yes.
Ferry?
Yes.
Elias?
Yes.
And Eustace?
Yes.
Thank you.
20 affirmative, 3 negative.
20 affirmative, 3 negative. It is recommended to go back to committee.
ZC 17072, I'll make a motion to send that back to committee.
Second.
Moved in second by Mr. Mayor. Any
Previous roll call.
Previous roll call by Mr. Gould, second by Mr. Parker. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any contrary, motion carried.
Next case, ZC 1802, make a motion to send that back to committee.
Moved by Mr. Wiley, second by Mr. Mayor. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll call by Mr. Gould, second by Ms. Melatello. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary,
No.
motion.
I want to be seen as a no on 1802.
You want to be in the
I
room?
want to be a no on 1802.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. So that makes it 19-4. Motion is carried.
Our next meeting is April 10th at 10:30, and concludes my report.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom. Next up is Finance Committee, Mr. President, Chairman.
I can talk loud, there's no speaker, but first up, we have some reports to be placed on file. We have the report from the Illinois Department of Revenue showing sales tax remitted to Will County for the month of December 2017 to be $186,376.87. RTA tax received is $591,748.42 for a total of $778,125.29. We have the monthly treasurer report dated January 31st from the Will County Treasurer, and we have the quarterly financial report for the 12 months ending November 30th, 2017 from the Will County Auditor, and I so move. So please on file.
Moved by Mr. Frizzalone, second by Mr. Mayor. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried. Got some no's?
Yes.
Okay, you, aye.
Rice, Summers, Rice, and Harris, and two no. All yes.
Yes.
All yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have 18-65, transferring appropriations within special funds for the Sheriff's Department, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Frizzalone, second by Ms. Dollinger. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous poll by Mr. Ferry, second by Ms. Winfrey. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
We have 18-66, transferring appropriation between funds and budgeting funds on hand for Sheriff's Department, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Frizzalone, second by Ms. Rice. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Parker, second by Ms. Dollinger. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
18-67, appropriating safe passage donation from Joliet Township, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Frizzalone, second by Ms. Summers. Any question? Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Winfrey, second by Ms. Staley Perry. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion has carried.
18-68, transferring and increasing appropriations of various county budgets to fund year-end shortfalls. This is our second of probably three transfers to clean up the year-end, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Frizzalone, second by Mr. Ballard. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll call by Mr. Gould, second by Mr. Tumanello. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
And we have 18-69, authorizing the county executive to execute necessary documents for delinquent tax program, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Frizzalone, second by Mr. Benefield. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Fritz, second by Ms. Parker. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Our next meeting is scheduled for April 3rd. I hope to see you then at 10 o'clock, and I also hope to see you immediately following this meeting at the open house at the Children Advocacy Center. Thank you.
Next up, Public Works Transportation. Mr. Gould, Chairman.
Morning, Mr. Executive.
Good morning, Don.
Good morning, fellow board members. First, I have Resolution 1870, authorizing approval of professional services agreement for supplemental design engineering services with Willett Hoffman Associates, various county highways, County Board Districts 5, 12, and 13. I move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, second by Mr. Ferry. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Harris, second by Mr. Moran. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Resolution 1871, authorizing approval of professional services agreement for design engineering phase 2 with Willett Hoffman Associates for Jackson Township Road District, County Board Districts 2 and 6. I move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, second by Ms. Melatello. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Ballard, second by Mr. Perry. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Resolution 1872, a resolution granting a temporary access permit for Caroline Lakes Homeowners Association on Redwood Road, County Board Districts 9 and 13. I move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, second by Mr. Moran. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Summers, second by Ms. Winfrey. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Resolution 1873, authorizing an agreement between Enterprise TE Products Pipeline Company and the County of Will for continued maintenance operation, location of a 14-inch pipeline in County Board Districts 1, 2, and 12. I move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, second by Mr. Tumanello. Second, any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Rice, second by Ms. Hart. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary motion has carried.
Resolution 1874, providing title commitment reports for the county. From Wheatland Title Guarantee Company for Laraway Road from Cedar Road to Stonebridge Drive, County Board District 12. I move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, second by Mr. Tumanello. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Wright, second by Ms. Staley Perry. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary motion is carried.
Resolution 1875, providing title commitment reports produced by the county from Wheatland Title Guarantee Company for Bridge Street from the I-80 westbound ramp north to Washington Street in County Board District 8. I move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, second by Ms. Winfrey. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Brooks, second by Mr. Markham. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Carried. And motion is carried.
I might add that the county engineers informed me that the bids came in from Normantown Road to 135th Street. And good news, that bid for the county came in $3.2 million under what was anticipated. Also, the bid from 119th Street to Normantown Road, including the interchange, came in, and that was approximately $7 million less. So two good pieces of information.
And you made us some money today.
Once in a while. So our next, let's see, sorry, my thing just fell off here. I know we meet the second Tuesday. Our next meeting is April the 3rd. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Don, for the good news. Next up, Judicial Committee, Mr. Benefield, Chairman.
Mr. Executive.
Good morning.
We have one resolution today. It's 18-76, and it's amending the section 43.03 of the Administrative Adjudication Ordinance, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Benefield, second by Ms. Parker. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Previous roll by Ms. Winfield, second by Mr. Moran. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Thank you, Mr. Executive. That concludes our report. Our next Judicial Committee meeting is scheduled for April 3rd at 9 a.m.
Thank you. Thank you. Next up is Public Health Safety Committee.
I'll take it.
On Mr. Gould.
Mrs. Ogawa advised that she's at Farm Bureau meetings, so there were no resolutions this month. The next meeting is April 5th at 9 o'clock.
Thank you, John. Thank you very much. Next up, Legislative and Policy Committee, Ms. Hart, Chairperson.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. I can't stop smiling. I have my daughter, my sailor's in the house.
Well, welcome home.
I'm not sure if anyone knows, but we have the primary next Tuesday. Things aren't really moving down in Springfield, or really in that matter for down in DC. So there's really nothing to report. Just hopefully everyone gets out and votes and supports your candidates. Our next meeting will be for legislative on April 10th. And hopefully we have some news then.
Thank you. Next up, Capital Improvement Committee, Mr. Tumanello, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Executive. I need to ask that we remove 1877, which was authorizing the county executive to convey the permanent utility easement on the county-owned property in 20 West Washington Street to Commonwealth Edison, because we are currently going to be placing some electrical equipment there for the courthouse. But after working with the engineers, I know that Dave Tack from your office is working close with them. They have found another location that we can put it that will be more conducive for the county and for everybody involved. We just need a little bit more time to get all the legal descriptions and the engineering complete. So it's better for us in the end, so I'd like to make a motion that we pull this from the agenda.
Moved by Mr. Tumanello, second by Ms. Fritz. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll by Mr. Ferry, second by Ms. Winfrey. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
I do want to just say thank you for your service, Ms. Hart. Appreciate having you here. The Contractors Association of Will and Grundy County also presented the entire Will County Board with the 2017 We Build Will and Grundy County Award. I have it here. It was presented to us on February 23rd. So if anyone has not seen it yet, we'll have it in the county board office, but we appreciate getting their award. Our next Capital Improvements Committee meeting is scheduled for March 20th at 9:30 a.m. That concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Next up, Executive Committee, Mr. Eustace, Chairman.
Morning, Mr. Executive.
Morning,
First item this morning is 1878, authorizing name change of Hill Street to Hill Street in Gilead Township and County Board District 8. I'll move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Eustace, second by Ms. Winfrey. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll by Mr. Brooks, second by Mr. Markham. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Next, we have Resolution 1879, voiding bid for well abandonment for land use, and I'll move to approve.
Moved by Mr. Eustace, second by Mr. Mayor. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Gould, second by Ms. Dollinger. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Next, we have 1880, replacement hires for the Division of Transportation. I'll move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Eustace, second by Ms. Winfrey. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Summers, second by Mr. Harris. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried. Oh.
I'm going to be voting no on replacement hires from now on until I get a better understanding on the procedure. We had a discussion in executive session, but it wasn't very clear. I didn't feel comfortable with what I was listening to. So until I feel comfortable, I'm going to vote no.
Okay. Mr. Ballard is no. Okay. Motion has carried.
Okay, next, 1881, replacement hires for the Supervisor of Assessments Office, and I'll move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Eustace, second by Mr. Mayor. Any question? Any question? Previous roll by Ms. Winfrey, second by Mr. Moran. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried. Mr. Ballard, you want to know.
1882, in support of the abolishment of the Aurora Election Commission, and I'll move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Eustace, second by Ms. Hart. And any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll by Mr. Mayor, second by Mr. Brooks. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, would you like to be a yes on this? Mr. Ballard is a yes.
Thank you.
Okay, our next meeting will be April 5th at 10 a.m. Moving on to appointments by the county executive. Appointment to Metra, and I'll move to table this.
Second.
Motion second to table. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Sure. Mayor?
Yes.
Brooks?
Could I ask why, or?
There's no discussion. There's not discussion on the public statement motion, but I'll talk to you afterwards.
Call the roll.
Brooks?
No.
Summers? No. Moran? Appointments, table the appointment for Metro. Thank you. Rice?
No.
Harris?
No.
Benefield?
Yes.
Fritz?
Yes.
Gould?
Yes.
Militello?
Yes.
Balich?
Yes.
Griswold?
Yes.
Winfrey?
No.
Parker,
Yes.
Staley Ferry, Dollinger,
Yes.
Markham,
No.
Hart,
Yes.
Tomanello,
Yes.
Weigel,
Yes.
Ferry,
No.
Colitis,
Yes.
and Eustace.
Yes.
Thank you.
14 affirmative, 9 negative.
14 affirmative, 9 negative. The motion table has been approved.
Thank you. Next we have, this next appointment is to workforce investment. I thought they were requesting it that it be removed because all the paperwork wasn't completed. I guess, Nick, you asked about it today.
I don't think there's any appointments going to workforce, is there? Is there?
The appointments to,
Oh, yes, marriage and work.
yeah, so I got a little, our chief of staff did say that Nick, you talked with them. The issue is the paperwork wasn't totally completed. I mean, is it a big thing to bring it back next month?
Table that one too.
All right. I'll move to table the appointment to
Motion.
workforce.
Moved by Mr. Table.
Second.
Second by Mr. Frizzlone. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mayor,
Yes.
Brooks, Table.
Yeah, I know. Yes.
This one's more.
Summers,
Yes.
Summers,
No.
Moran,
No.
Rice, Harris,
No.
Benefield,
Yes.
Fritz,
Yes.
Gould,
Yes.
Militello,
Yes.
Balich,
Yes.
Frizzlone,
Yes.
Winfrey,
No.
Parker,
Yes.
Staley Ferry,
No.
Dollinger,
Yes.
Markham,
No.
Hart,
Yes.
Hart, yes, Tomanello. Weigel,
Yes.
Ferry,
No.
Colitis,
Yes.
and Eustace.
Yes.
Thank you.
Fifteen affirmative, 8 negative.
15 affirmative, 8 negative. Motion has been tabled. Next up, public comment. Anyone from the public wishes to address this board? Anyone?
Excuse me, we got to do the other appointments. We have to do the other two appointments.
Vote.
We only,
No, the whole.
I don't have mine.
you're taking them all back to
Yeah, he always does that.
Okay, they're all coming back.
I don't have any other appointments on my agenda. Somebody else is-
There's two others.
Mosquito abatement, drainage district.
There's two others.
Drainage district.
It's not out of my.
Romaville mosquito
I have
abatement
a,
district.
okay, so mosquito.
And Union drainage district.
Uh,
Two other on the agenda.
I'll move to approve the appointment to mosquito abatement.
Okay, so
Romeo.
the tabling motion was just on Mary Jo Jaworski to go back.
Correct, it was only on work.
And Metro. And Metro.
Because the original, my understanding was a request by workforce to table it till they get all the paperwork in. So it wasn't something that, I was doing it as a request by the agency, just so you all know that. So, and then there was a little confusion, so, anyway, so I'll make a motion to approve the mosquito abatement, Romeo mosquito abatement appointment.
Moved and
Second.
second by Mr. Mayor.
I'll call the roll.
Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mayor?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Summers?
Yes.
Moran? Rice?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Benefield?
Yes.
Fritz? Gould?
Yes.
Militello?
Yes.
Balich?
Yes.
Frizzlone?
Yes.
Winfrey?
Yes.
Parker? Staley Ferry? Dollinger?
Yes.
Markham?
Yes.
Hart? Hart?
Yes.
Thank you. Tomanello?
Yes.
Weigel?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Colitis?
Yes.
And Eustace.
Yes.
Thank you.
23 affirmative.
Next, I have the appointment to the Union Drainage District. I'll move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Mister, second by Mr. Mayor. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll call by Ms. Parker, second by Ms. Dollinger. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
And the next, just so there's no confusion, was, the next one was tabled by the WIP board appointment pending, at their request, pending additional completion of paperwork. So we already did that.
Okay.
That concludes my report, Mr. Executive.
Thank you. Public comment. Anyone would like to address this board? Anyone from the public like to address the board? Anyone from anyone from the public? Comments by county board members. Ms. Dollinger.
Good morning. I have a couple different things. Judy O'Gala asked that I let everybody know that Silver Cross is having a Breast Health and Breast Cancer Prevention Day next Tuesday, March 20th, from 6:30 to 7:30 at the Silver Cross Hospital Conference Center, Pavilion A. And then also I want to give a shout out to the Joliet West Township High School Girls Cheerleading Squad. They've placed first in their competition for the large school division. And Tyler and I will be going out to their school board meeting on Tuesday to make a presentation to the girls there in their recognition for that. And then also to let you know that tonight, Tyler and I are busy today, we have a opioid presentation that's going on at Westmere. The Sheriff's Department will have their hidden in plain sight trailer there for the homeowners to take a look at. And then we have Dr. Burke and Dr. Boyce out there speaking to the community. So we're looking forward to having that. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Staley Perry.
I just want to let everybody know that the Ad Hoc IT Assessment Committee is meeting on April 4th at 10 a.m.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Mr. Dumanel.
Thank you, Mr. Executive. I just want to invite everybody on April 3rd to come to the joint meeting between Mr. Benefield and Ms. O'Gala's committee, the public safety and the judicial. Last executive meeting, I brought up a very passionate topic of school shootings and what I feel the county should be doing in the future. I'm not going to lay out the entire thing, but I did bring up the good points about, what our nation has done to make advancements with regard to tornadoes, and fires, and all the improvements that we've done on the schools to make sure that no one is injured. I talked at length about what we do to protect our athletes, our airport terminals, our concert halls, amusement parks, courthouses, our judges, everybody. But we don't afford our own children those same protections. I am looking forward to a very energized meeting. I would ask and encourage everyone to come, and I think we should all have input on doing what is right to protect our children moving forward. I would envision absolutely loving to see a plan that I outlined in the executive committee being placed in our unincorporated in our high schools. Developing that plan and moving it into our grade schools. Until Washington and Springfield get off their rear ends and actually come up with a plan that works. And while they're fighting over gun control and being able to, look at individuals and profile them, we should be doing our part to make sure that we protect every child when they're at school. Because if we don't have a safe county, I don't know what our job and our role really is here. It's the number one thing we should be doing. So in addition, we talked about, entering through lockable doors, having metal detectors, the very way that we protect all those individuals that we see on TV every day. Can't even go to an IHSA competition without walking through a metal detector and having an armed guard there. I can't go to a sporting event, I can't go to a concert, I can't go to an airport, I can't get on a cruise ship, I can't go to a courthouse, amusement park, anything. I can't even go to Disney World without walking through that security. But yet our children are open targets. It needs to stop. And I look forward to having the involvement from the Sheriff's Department at those committees and making sure that we put our children first. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Ms. Summers?
Yeah, I'll just be very brief. I just want to give a shout out to the Will County 4-H Youth Foundation. They're having a pork chop dinner on Saturday, April 7th, 2018 from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. Tickets start at $10 and kind of go down from there. And that's going to be at Lincoln Way West High School on Gauger Road in New Lenox. And they're sitting right outside the door, so let's get out there and support them and possibly buy a ticket from them, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ballard?
Yeah, I want to speak to what Ray was talking about. There are programs in other cities where the police departments set up substations in one classroom in the school, so they're in and out all day at no cost to the taxpayers. And the other thing that they're doing in a lot of schools is anyone that wants to be armed, like I wanted to do here, to deter these people from coming in, because it's been proven that the places they go to start shooting everything up are places where there's no guns. And when that happens, it's like an invitation to these people. But the most important thing that needs to be recognized is not the guns, it's the culture. We have to start getting, we talk about prevention for opioids. Well, we've lost sight of why all this has happened. It isn't because someone has a gun. When I was a kid, we walked around with guns. We go out to the prairie and shoot. No one cared. No one was ever hurt. Why is it that 30 years ago, never mind how many years ago, a long time ago, we would go out and you could carry a gun down the street loaded. No one, the police walk by and they wave at you, The point is that we don't have respect. Our kids are not learning that anymore. There's a lack of value for life now. So until we can start addressing that, this is never going to end. So I think we need to start looking at preventative programs to start getting our kids educated on respect and what the value of life. Because it's no longer taught in the schools. They're too busy taking these things that everybody argues about and talking about that, but there's nothing about respect and value. So morality is important. Ethics is important. So, I'm all in favor of doing whatever we can to prevent these things. But let's get to the root of it instead of just throwing something out and saying, let's put, and granted, metal detectors is a good idea. Having armed police is a good idea. Arming the teachers is a better idea. But we still have to get down to the bottom line, and that's the ethics and morality of our children.
Mr. Berry?
In the spirit that everybody is equal, I'd just like to ask everybody to keep their fingers crossed for my granddaughter this week and into the weekend. They're competing for their third consecutive national championship, women's ice hockey. Miami of Ohio. And let's hope they succeed. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck. Good luck. Anyone else? Anyone else? Yeah. Mr. State's Attorney.
Along the lines of protecting our schools, we all need to work together on this. And when I see the situation with the FBI not being able to follow up on something, in Will County here, you can talk to Mike Kelly. We work very well with the FBI, Secret Service, Postal. They have communication with us. And what we're going to be trying to make sure is that they're overbooked. They only have a couple of FBI agents that are going to be working in Will County with 1,000 police officers. So if they can't vet, a complaint, we're going to try and create a pipeline where they can flip it to us and we'll work with them. So the Broward County can never happen here. Every time I see the red flags on all these shootings around, we can create a system in this county because our grassroots efforts are the best. where and I want to go out and talk to even the neighborhood watch groups and tell them, these are red flags. Keep your eyes open. And then we'll have a number eventually where they can call. The problem is we get a lot of false calls, and it's tragic when that happens. People that do that are cruel because they divert our efforts from what we're supposed to be doing. But I just want to mention, Troy Township had a problem years ago where kids were bringing BB guns, toy guns to school. Well, administratively they can punish them, but that's not a crime, okay? And some of the kids were incorrigible and they couldn't stop them. So, working with the Joliet Police Department, I said, let's put a no trespass sign on the school that says no BB guns, no knives, no box cutters, no toy guns. Then the police can make an arrest if the school so chooses. We're not asking to be jackbooted stormtroopers who just come in and arrest every kid. But if a kid's on his third offense, well then law enforcement needs to be involved. Now now we're aware of this person, we can bring him in front of a judge, try to scare them with a threat of incarceration or whatever. Sometimes that works, it still works. So we're going to just, Ray, I'd like to work with you on this, and we all need to do it because we're all going to see things. And we gotta, I got a saying on my desk, the hottest places in hell are reserved for those in the time of moral crisis who maintain their neutrality. You see something, tell somebody, and we can avoid these tragedies.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else? Next up is our majority leader, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Well, I want to wish everybody a happy St. Patrick's Day. I like all the folks that had their green. My green is getting washed from the last weekend's events and should be ready for this weekend's events. Also, thank you to Julia Hart for coming down here and hanging out with us throughout the day, leading us in the pledge. Anytime, all of us that have had family members that have been in the service, we know how tough that is for parents and stuff to watch their kids grow up and take on these kind of responsibilities. But it says a lot about the family that Julia grew up in. So I appreciate all the work and effort. And Don, thanks for finding us $10 million. It's always a good thing when we can go in and show that our government, is trying to work efficiently and make sure that we are good stewards of the dollars that our citizens allow us to utilize for their services. And with that, I want to thank also everybody here and all the hard work that they've done throughout the month. It's sometimes we divide down here in the middle of this aisle here. Other times we're all on the same page. But no matter what it is, we're all looking out for the best interest of the citizens of this county. And I applaud everybody here and the work that they've done. Thank you very much, and have a great weekend.
Thank you. Next up, our minority leader, Mr. Brooks.
Thank you, Mr. Executive. Still good morning, ladies and gentlemen in this room. My green is out in the wash also from all that Should get it back soon. In addition to all of the things that Gloria Dollinger mentioned is going on in the city of Joliet tonight and around the community, let me also add the Spanish Center of Joliet is having their celebration tonight at the Jacob Henry Mansion. And if that's not enough for you, the Will Grundy Medical Center is having their celebration in Bolingbrook on Rodale Drive on tonight. So it's enough, something for everybody. And let me close with some good news, some positive news. In the Christian community, we are in what we call 40 days of Lent. Within that 40 days of Lent, we're halfway through. Halfway through, just so happen to fall on what we call the state of Illinois primary. We also been given a God-given right to go and vote. And I do hope everybody exercise that as well. And then the remainder of the 40 days we have left, everybody try to continue to behave. We work together very well, but when that ends on Good Friday, just be good up until then, and we'll pray for you after that. Thank you so much. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. Next up, Board Speaker, Mr. Middleton.
Good morning, everyone. I too would like to thank everyone for all the hard work all month that I usually do. That includes not only this board, but all the staff members. Thank you very much. I heard a discussion here today about children and the safety of children and protecting our children. And, I'm a person that has has 6 kids and 13 grandchildren.
Whoa.
So, you know, my whole life has been about kids, I think. I spent a lifetime raising kids, it seems. And also helping with my grandchildren at times. You know, I'm going to mention a couple things here today. You know, I ran into Ken Gray, the state's attorney's office, the state's attorney's like chief person. And you know, a number of years ago, most of you were not here when we instituted something. Well, actually, the state's attorney's office instituted it, and of course, this board looked at expanding and funding the efforts, what was going on in the state's attorney's office. At the time, the state's attorney said, you know, I started this sexual predator kind of unit, but I have one person part-time, and she's kind of working on this, and we're having some successes. And these are basically sexual predators that target children. So I asked, how's that going? You know, we did decide to, you know, Andrell at the time, along with myself, we kind of spearheaded the funding efforts. And I said, how's that going? And I was really astonished by the results. And these are, you know, before a sexual predator of children is actually caught and arrested, I believe Jim told me they probably have abused 250 kids by the time they're caught. So I have asked the state attorney's office to give us a presentation so you're all aware of some of the other efforts to protect our children. And I'm astonished at the success they've had. But I guess we can save that for the presentation. I won't take your thunder. I just want to say they've had great success. This is another area we reach out to protect our children. You know, we never worried about protecting our children in schools when I was a kid. It doesn't mean we didn't have security around, but it was certainly not the type of violence, destruction that you see here as we have today. I know in my local area we did have an incident, I guess, and the sheriff's department was on top of it, and I understand they made an arrest, and you know, whether it's a prank or, you know, sometimes they're pranking, or like the state attorney said, they're false reports, you have to answer them. And it's too bad sometimes people think a kid will think it's kind of a funny thing to do. But getting back to the security of schools, I don't have the answer. I know this, the answer will not come out of Washington, D.C., and it's not going to come out of the state of Illinois. The answer has to come from us locally, you know, and whether that's, you know, a effort of local law enforcement, of local governments, I think that's where it's going to come from. Quite frankly, I don't want to put the burden on our teachers to be the security people in our schools. I don't want to put that burden on them. You know, they're there to teach and educate our children. Maybe we need to have more robust security, external security, so people aren't getting in buildings. Whether that's putting everybody through a metal detector, or whether that's, you know, limited access in the buildings, whatever it may be. But I can tell you this, we all need to work on it. I'm committed to working on it, and I know you all are. You know, open to all ideas, I think. But understand, we are going to have to come with a solution. Regardless of what happens in Washington, D.C., they're not going to protect our kids. We're going to have to protect them. So, having said that, if I get on a little lighter note, baseball is just around the corner. I can't wait. It always means summer, spring, you know, symbolically. Interest in our White Sox, we got a lot of young players. I think it could be boom or bust, I don't know. And, you know, the Cubs are plodding along, you know, and it looks like they're still they're still got their core together. So everyone, have a great day. And Reverend Brooks, since you made those comments, I'm going to call you Reverend Brooks. You know, one thing that Lent does, it does bring us into perspective. It makes us think about how we can be better people. So I do agree with you. It's a time of reflection on ourselves. Do something nice, do something kind, help someone, and be thankful for what you have.
Right.
That's it.
Amen.
Amen, brother. Amen.
Thank you. Seeing no further business to be brought forth in the county board, we'll stand at recess until Thursday, April 19, 2018 at 9:30 in the morning.